Should we do a freeze frame intro like we done the freeze frame outro last time? Or
I'm always
could.
a freeze frame. I'm always a freeze frame.
yeah, actually, yeah. Well, greetings, everyone.
Bonjour.
Hello,
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Thank you for joining me on what will be the first anniversary.
Yeah, look at
know.
that.
Happy
That's
anniversary.
Where's that time gone, man?
I know.
That's amazing.
18,500 subscribers, nearly 2 million views.
Yeah.
Nearly 180 videos, roughly.
Couldn't get 2. I suppose I should thank everyone, but I couldn't get 2 million.
And the big bonus is there's no contract put out on you yet.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
no contract. That's good.
Not
that we know of.
No.
I'm sure Disney's lined someone up somewhere. They're like,
yeah. No, actually, I was quite with Secret Invasion. I don't think I was. No, I was. I took a piss.
Yeah, you still had a pop.
Yeah, I really did try as well. And I was looking forward to it.
I know.
Who else?
I can't blame you too much though. It was amusing.
Has anyone else seen it?
No, not yet. I haven't had a chance to see Secret Invasion yet. But
Nope.
the thing was, I called that as one of the ones I was looking forward to years ago. And yeah, I'm already disappointed by the sounds of it.
The comic 15
but
so we can't do too heavy spoilers, can we, on this? Are we going to go straight into it?
Let's do a brief one. Commentators, let's do a little brief one. I'll leave it to you to kick it off. Go on. You
oh my God. Wait.
Tayters, you've never kicked off hogCAST. My first anniversary, you're kicking it off.
I'm kicking it off. Oh my God. Yeah, it wasn't great.
What, the hogCAST or the show?
The last year just wasn't great at all. Yeah, it was a terrible year. No, the show really wasn't great. It was cheap. It was cheap. That's all I can say. Practical effects were not great. Now, on some of the projects we've been involved with, I think some of our effects were better. Yeah, the one thing I will say, when he shoots that guy that looks a bit like Borat with a beard, the squibs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was just like, I think I could have done better myself.
The CGI, because they
it was just practical effects, visual effects. The one bit that made me really laugh, and like I was talking to you earlier, Hog, the bit that made me really laugh, I actually had to pause it and step back and then come back again. So you get the opening scene.
Yeah.
Fine, you get the credit roll. And then the first thing you see after the credit roll is this beam of light. One solid beam of light.
Oh, yeah.
I was honestly waiting for Mr. Bean to plop onto the floor. it looked, that's what got me. I had to stop because it was like, I've got to sit back a second. It's like it just looks like a beginning episode of Mr. Bean.
But
that's what,
you're right. That scene,
yeah,
they don't even know what they're doing, what they're trying to create. No, it's a beam of light, and you think, okay, is this are they beaming Fury down from Tabor? I don't know what the flippity flip that is anymore. But are they beaming Fury down? So everyone's going, oh, Fury's turning up. And then it's beam of light, Mr. Bean. It comes down, but then it's got like this ET type effect.
Well, I thought what was the movie on the Devil's Tower? Richard Dreyfuss. What's his name? What's the
Close Encounters?
That's the one. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, and it did look good because you think, oh my God, is this an alien or is it? No, it's Fury.
Yeah.
But then when it focuses, so it's beam of light, looks like an alien. What can it be? It's like a grey, Yeah. What's it? So they're playing with great. It's all great so far.
Apart from the Mr. Bean bit, yeah.
Then the focus comes in, and it's got 2 chairs either side of him.
That's it.
So he's obviously not been beamed down. He's on a ship.
Yeah.
But you think, right. But all you see is the 2 chairs. and then it goes straight to behind him. So now you see Fury's back, and he's looking behind him, and they've got a light on a little rope.
Yeah, show us the ship at least.
Does it?
You know, so blatantly obvious that the director was shouting, "Look! Start looking up at the light as the ship takes off again."
Yeah.
It sounds like the way you're describing it. It's like what we would do when we've got no budget and we're trying to add something.
Yes.
We would do that because we wouldn't have had the beam of light. It's either what was the beam of light? You've either got the ship dropping him off and going, and doors go. The cheapest thing would have been beam of light. He turns up. End of story. Goes. He's in darkness again.
That's it.
And then he's limping. Oh, now he's limping. He's going, oh, I'm thinking, why are you limping? Did it hurt? Like, did they
got cramp?
It hurt you? He just looks at old Colby Smoldy, who's coming from across she's driven over the.
Yeah.
Oh. And
they've been advertising this show forever. I mean, what did they have amateurs on the set? I mean, what was going on? Because that sounds like this has been a really hyped up show, and to have a little mistake like that, not little, a big mistake like that on such a little thing.
If you was doing a low budget sci-fi, you would have to use that trick.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
As Samuel Jackson looks behind him and goes like that, it's not even like he's waving at the people that drop. He's just going.
Yeah.
And the lights and they take their time instead of it just going and leaving him in darkness. That's all you had to do. He didn't have to look, but it's like the director had to just
call attention to the thing that they really shouldn't have called attention to.
And it was the dramatic noise as well. You're forgetting the noise. It was the big rumble of the ship flying away. It was very dramatic. It was yeah.
The best bit for me though was Moscow in summertime.
Yes. Absolutely.
They're so not in Moscow. We spend an hour in Moscow and you've got these people walking around in their fur hats and there's no snow. There's nothing that looks like Moscow. They've got the odd sign in Russian.
Yeah.
They've got the odd sign in Russian. But other than that, you are just in generic town. There's no... it's so... What Tayters, what you said is so cheap.
Cheap.
It's really making me look forward to watching it.
They did have all the good in the world, but
I'm surprised I'm surprised Samuel Jackson's allowed that to happen. Normally he brings a sort of weight to it where there's got to be a certain standard if he's in it, but obviously not. Obviously not.
It must.
Sometimes I think he does something just for a laugh, though.
Snakes on the Plane.
Yes, that was what was coming to mind right there. But Snakes on a Plane was a fan-made film. People voted on the lines that they wanted to have people say. So, I mean, that's a totally different genre of film, I think. How awesome would it be if we got more of those? I mean, if this would be the time to do it because there's so much crap out there anyway.
Yeah. It'd be written better than what Disney are doing.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised when Disney especially just poops out on the sets and the locations. Like I watched Shadow and Bone, that series on Netflix, and I got to tell you what, the highlight of the show for me is the locations and the costumes. The special effects in the second season were pretty crappy. They weren't great in the first season, but they definitely were not good in the second. I mean, it was passable stuff, but clearly that's not where the budget went. The budget went to taking their cast to these really cool real places, like gigantic marble cathedral type places. And if I was going to take away one thing from that show, I would say they did a really good job with feeling grounded visually. But Disney has no freaking excuse. They have an unlimited budget. Unlimited. Why are they not doing things at least just aesthetically pleasing?
I think
and the thing is, things take
an unlimited budget.
but the thing is as well is simple stuff like that. You've got to create the world that you can believe in. Yeah. And if you don't do that, you're instantly taking out the story, and then all you can do is focus on these sort of things when actually the story is what should be. So it's by the sounds of it, it's a shit story that they've done where they're just taking their time or not getting to what they should be doing. But then at the same time, you put all that stuff in it where it doesn't feel like Moscow and it doesn't look real. There's cheap like versions of CGI, if you can even call it that. It just takes you out of it straight away. So then all you do is focus on that and laugh at that instead of actually getting engaged in the story.
I'll be
honest.
honest.
It's interesting though, if the story and the characters are good enough, people will forgive bad CGI. Now, sound, people typically don't forgive bad sound as much, but visually they will forgive things if it's a great story. And I mean, think about all the sci-fi TV shows that we've all watched that back in the day, they had great writing, but let's all admit the special effects were sometimes crap.
Hog, is that first episode sort of similar to the comics or not?
No.
I'll be honest with you though, Liz, you saying about the story. Now, okay, I was like half-assed watching it. I'll be honest with you. After the Mr. Bean thing, I was sort of like, I wasn't really in it anyway. And I was half-assed watching it, but I don't actually remember there being a story or even alluding to a story.
That's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a bit of an issue, isn't it?
It's so convoluted, and I thought it was just me. I got to the end of the first episode, and I thought, this happens way too much though now, because the first episode of anything used to be, like the pilot is something a little bit special. It gets you right into it. It's supposed to be selling your show,
especially if you've only got 6 episodes.
You have to deliver on that pilot episode. You have to deliver to get people to come back the next week. If you don't do that, then you're doomed to start off with. And there's arguments for the style of streaming. Are you releasing it weekly? Are you releasing it all in one go? If you're releasing it all in one go, there's no excuse, but your pilot could potentially lack a little bit because the next episode is going to load up straight away and you're straight into the next one.
It's all right. We'll be all right. We'll get Jack Black and Lizzo in a couple of episodes.
Oh, fucking hell. But if you're doing it on a weekly format, if you don't give enough for people to entice them into the following week on that weekly format, you're going to lose momentum week on week.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose people week on week and viewers week on week. You have to hook them. So I think that pilot should be balls to the wall.
The pilot should get you to the point of no return for your hero. So that's the spot in storytelling where, like think in Star Wars Episode 4, when Luke goes home to find his aunt and uncle have been killed, that for him is the point of no return. He can't go backwards now. He absolutely has to go forward. You want to take your story to at least that point. That is considered the first guaranteed hook. Like the first hook in Star Wars is the shooting ships at each other, which is the opening shot, which is fantastic. But that's like only some people will like this. But when you get to, here's a character we've introduced, he wants adventure, but he can't go. And then suddenly he cannot go home. He has no choice but to go with Obi-Wan Kenobi on his mission to save the princess. That's the spot where you would want to leave your audience. He discovers his aunt and aunt are dead, whatever. You get the idea. So if they're not taking the audience to that point in the first episode, people will lose interest. Most of your audience will lose interest and just leave because what are they looking for?
Yes, they did kind of deliver an ending to a first episode, and you can, if you're going to be generous, you can kind of see that they did want Invasion of the Body Snatchers with, some Cold War era thriller, that paranoia, but with a layer of the scroll. But what they do continually is hand it all over to a group of children. Whether they might not be children age-wise, but creatively meant, it's like it's created by people that have never been anywhere, that have never done anything, that have never experienced a single thing in their life. But this is how they're imagining adults behave, because there's no dialogue in it. There's no, even the actors, they've got nothing. Even you've got Olivia Colman and Samuel Jackson in the same room, and that dialogue should be cracking.
Yes.
It should be, do you remember what we did back in the day? And it should be, and I helped you out, and and I've set myself up to get here, and she's going, oh, but it's kind of like, it's dull. There's nothing. They kind of say, they allude to the fact that they know each other from back in the day, but they literally, they're just having it's like they're sipping a cup of tea, and that should be like proper cracking, and there's aliens invading, and oh my God, this what are we going to do about it? And whether they're going to set these two up as enemies or not, come on. But they're sitting there again. It's dismal. They're just sitting, talking, and this is what these children believe is drama.
Is there quip coordinators on this one?
So there's no quips, man.
Not so bad. No, it's
No
not
quip.
so bad.
No quip coordinator.
No.
Of all the things though in the last year that you've reviewed,
He's one of the layoffs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the quip coordinator went.
Of all the things dismal wise in the last year that you've reviewed, what's your favourite one that you've enjoyed reviewing the most?
No, She-Hulk. I found a groove with that because
You did. You lost your shit on one of them.
You had to get medical insurance for one of them.
I helped out, and that seemed to be the one that I went from there. And when I spazzed out, I went like that. So I kind of owe a lot to She-Hulk, bless her.
Andy,
I think
what?
people tuned in because they were like, we might actually see this bloke
You
explode.
might see his head explode like scanners. I'll go straight on the screen.
What's this bloke? He's going to have a heart attack on screen.
But it was definitely Mandalorian Series 3.
That
Yeah.
was a letdown.
Yeah, me and the Ewok, we got right into a nice. I really enjoyed. It was so much fun. I think I kind of with She-Hulk, I was getting there.
That was a learning curve.
Yeah, but with Mandalorian, I found a way to enjoy this show beyond what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I could probably watch that and review it again and do another review and find more stupidity. Because if I went back and done Kenobi in the style of Mandalorian Series 3, because I did one video taking the piss out of the entire series, I think.
That was your first video, wasn't it, Kenobi?
My very first video was Kenobi.
Yeah.
It was the one that, couldn't take it no more, man. I found a happy place now. Found a happy place.
Yeah.
With whatever his name is. He's over there looking at me. With a Star Wars celebration bag. All right.
Yeah.
So that was that. So the big news of this week, or the big arrival, is The Flash.
Yeah.
How many have seen it?
I've only heard you two talk about it.
Amber, haven't seen it yet?
Nope, haven't seen it.
Are you? Do you intend to? Is there any?
No.
Like, because I know you're not much of a superhero-y kind of.
No, there was nothing in that trailer that made me say this is going to be a spectacular movie. And honestly, unless I'm going to take my nephew to go see something, I'm not going to go see it.
What was the last superhero film you enjoyed, Amber?
Oh, I watched the Spider-Man
Yes.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Before
I watched that before that.
Because that's an old one. So what I'm trying to get to.
You know what? I liked Iron Man. I liked the Avengers, the first one. And then after that, they kept coming out with more. And I saw them and I was like, they're not as good as that one, but okay. Geez, I can't even think of one that I really liked.
What about
There's not one that I'm like, want to go back and watch again. Maybe Iron Man.
What about the Tom Holland Spider-Man with the other Spider-Man?
No, okay. My sister says I have to see that one. I haven't seen it.
Right. No, because I don't know why I thought you might have said that because of the member berries in it with the old Spider, Tobey Maguire and
Andrew Garfield.
And that honestly, that's why I would want to go see it. Like, I remember very well my going to see Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, the first one, and X-Men, the first one.
Yes.
It was a double feature at the drive-in in the summertime. All my friends, like all of us on our trucks and stuff, watching it and throwing, cartridge juices to each other because you couldn't drink alcohol.
No, that's outrageous.
It was fun. My rowdy cousin, when Spider-Man's like testing out his shooting out of his wrist things, she made some lewd comments about that so loud everyone could hear.
That's
but
the fun.
no,
Yeah.
I wish I could say that they're, okay. I would be really up for some gritty superhero movies. Like I was thinking back to how excited I was about what was the Shyamalan one? It was
Glass
I wanted Glass to
Unbreakable.
be good. It wasn't. I loved Unbreakable.
Oh, Unbreakable, yeah.
I was really happy when it turned out that what was it, Shattered?
Yeah.
What was the next one? Split. Split was like a sequel. I would be down for some grounded superhero movies like that. I think that'd be fun.
Grounded and fun is that word, grounded.
No, they don't. For me, it's fun because it's a unique take on it that I've only seen Unbreakable do. Right.
Did you see the what was the name of it? It was a Netflix. It was like a spin on Superman. What was it called? Bright? No, not Bright.
No, but it was called Bright. Yeah.
No, that was the one with what's his face?
That was like the goblins and fairies.
No, it was called something. It was anyway. It's a spin on Superman. This kid crashes into the planet. People take him on. They adopt him. Turns out he's a lunatic with all Superman's powers. It's really good. It is
good.
And it's called Bright.
It's
Brightburn.
Bright Side or Bright something. I can't remember now.
Brightburn.
Yeah, Brightburn. Yeah.
Brightburn. There we go.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Okay.
That's really good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the problem for me is the whole oversaturation. Like it's hard for me to get excited about a story when I feel like I'm so often seeing the same sort of story told again and again, and I want something fresh, something new. And there's so much of it, I can't keep up with it. I mean, I don't have the time to go to the theater for all of these when they come out, and when they're here on TV at my house, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll watch part of it, and I find myself going, I have zero investment because I had to watch like 5 other movies to get half the jokes in here.
That's the other thing as well. Yeah, that is the other thing, and you can see where this is a film like The Flash is a film out of time, a bit like Black Widow when Marvel did it, and it was like 2 years too late. I know the pandemic and all the rest of it, but Black Widow should have been between two of the end, between whatever it is. And Flash, there's a bit in the beginning where it kind of really, really reminds you that this began as part of the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you've got, and spoiler alert, you've got Wonder Woman in it. And I think we all know that the Affleck Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But right at the beginning, but it's a bit jarring and weird because it's 5 years later now. Like we don't need to see.
Yeah.
We didn't really. I don't know if you agree with that, Liz, but I'll let you.
It's an interesting one.
It was a bit jarring to see Gal Gadot turns up to help out Batman and Flash, and just stand there like that, and then she goes and she's gone for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I will put up with Gal Gadot standing there like that all day. She can sue me. She finds but it was a bit jarring, but you could tell that, if you're bothered, it was like right at the beginning. But if that had been 5 years ago, oh wow,
the interesting decision is that they set this in the Snyderverse. Yeah. So originally this film was supposed to have come out, well, probably about 2019. It should have come out. It's had 6 different directors.
Really?
It's gone through so many different issues and reshoots and stuff like that. So it's almost like a bastardization of what it was originally supposed to be. So it's funny and interestingly enough, there's a line at the beginning when he's talking to Ben Affleck's Batman that they've left in there, which shows that it's linked to Snyder's version of the Justice League.
Go on.
So he basically says, they reference in Zack Snyder's Justice League that he managed to go back in time a couple of seconds to help save everyone. Now that only happened in Zack Snyder's Justice League, not the Whedon version of Justice League.
Yeah.
So that's how it's linked into the Snyderverse version, which they adamantly said that it wasn't. So they said that beforehand. It's not going to be the Snyderverse version. It's going to be Whedon's version, etc., etc. Yet
and then they left that in.
That line's left in there, yeah. So it is part of the Snyderverse. So it's almost like the swan song for the Snyderverse in that opening bit, if that makes sense.
Aside from all these little details, what
I still don't know. I'm still very confused.
There's a film that you sit down in the cinema and you watch, and like Amber said, you know, and it's not just Amber. I think it's everyone getting fed up. I need to watch 5 films to.
Was I into? So I've spoken about it before, and I know I'm only going to mention it very, very quickly. Then I'm going to discard it all because I want to answer this as honestly as possible. Obviously, I know the comic very, very well, the graphic novel of it very, very well, and I've gone through that. Is it a bastardization of the comic? Yes, it is. Is it as good as the comic? No, it's not. The story, they left out the key element of Thomas Wayne, and so you get that duality of the roles of the Flash having to sacrifice his mum, and then Thomas Wayne, the dad, sacrificing himself to save his son. Yeah. You lose that in it.
That would have been a 3.5-hour film, though.
Yeah, discard all of that because I want to talk about it as a viewer just going in to watch it without knowing about the graphic novel. So that's all I'll mention about the graphic novel. Was I entertained? Yes. Do I know how I feel about it walking out? I kind of walked out of it feeling a bit numb because there was bits in it that I laughed at. There was bits in it that I liked. There was bits in it that I hated. But overall, I still don't know how I feel about it. It's a very strange one because, like, the opening, for example, was very stupid. Very, very stupid. There was some funny moments in it, but it was overall very stupid. So he's got a little dial in his suit that showed he's running low on calories. So he has to keep his calories up. Then you've got these babies falling out this hospital that he's got to save. So he's got to go and smash open the vending machine, eat that, which, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
a bit funny.
I found that hilarious. And the dog's in slow motion.
Yeah, the dog's falling in slow motion. He puts a baby in a microwave to save it. And then the microwave dings at the bottom. It is.
That was coming. I know.
Yeah,
It's not plugged in, Amber. That it isn't working. It isn't actually switched on.
Thank you for that clarification.
It's bad, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
The wheels were going, and I'm like, oh my god.
Microwaving babies. This doesn't sound like the Flash.
I think the thing that saved it overall was that, from being a complete mess, was that there was a heart to the story.
Yeah,
there was a proper heart to the story. So he goes back in time, he saves his mum. He then, as he's going back through the Speed Force, he gets knocked out by the Speed Force, and he ends up in 2013. So the day that he's supposed to get his powers, so he meets up with a younger version of himself, and he's got to try and get his younger version, make sure he still gets his powers, but in doing so, he loses the powers, and there's loads of stuff that goes on. But the heart of the story is the key to it. And I think that's what saved it. And overall, it's a sad story. He doesn't win. He doesn't win. It's a sad story. He doesn't win.
But they do, without giving a spoiler away. But he does. He ultimately he can't. They tell you that
he can't win. Yeah,
you can't change time, right? But he does do something that just gives you that satisfaction. At the end, he's got a minor. He's got a minor victory, but it means a lot to him personally. And I thought that the time travel was handled nicely.
Yes,
because the Speed Force could have been, instead of like what everyone tries to do at the moment, is explain every single thing going. We're talking about a time travel movie. Just say he can run back. He can run so fast that he can go back in time. And they did it. And I thought, oh, this is cool. And the Speed Force bit, like, they didn't explain how it worked. They didn't go into the physics of it. They kind of alluded to it when they give you a bit of gobbledygook, like Barry Allen's kind of talk to someone, and someone goes, yeah. I thought, this is brilliant. You just see him go through the Speed Force. They just give us that conceit. Get on with it. And I thought, that saved an hour.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the heart of it was what saved the story. So it was a good story in terms of the. I
love the story, but I've got parents that are no longer here. So that's going to tug on a particular string for me.
Yes.
String, that straight away I'm invested in. So I've got to admit, but nevertheless, I thought I was going to be annoyed by 2 lots of Ezra.
Yeah.
I was going to get onto that.
I was ready to hate it. but I'm going to say, I'm going to be controversial and say I enjoyed this film, and he didn't annoy me.
See, for me,
He was funny.
The main Barry Allen didn't annoy me.
Two different characters. He was playing. I think he done a really good job of the, whatever you want to call it, of our Barry in this world and the other, and the
younger Barry
multiverses. A million of them. They just played it with them two straight down. Time travel. He's gone back in time once, because you could keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and they do go there, but only at the end when it's a payoff. I thought they just done that. Yeah.
I mean, overall, I think
expectations for that low. I don't know.
Yeah, it was better than what I thought it would be. The two Barrys for me, I enjoyed the present Barry, and then the past Barry did annoy me a little bit, but I could see how they're playing off of each other. I must say, obviously, the highlight is Keaton. I did enjoy seeing him again, but I must say, the Supergirl actress, I thought she'd done a cracking job. I thought she'd done all right with what she had. I thought she'd done really well. I was ready as well, but I thought
I was ready. Right? No,
done really well.
She ain't got long hair. No, we don't want no short hair brunette. The Supergirl. No, I'm going in for her. But she was grim. That was another leftover from Snyder. Do you think? Because
yes, it was.
She was. It weren't like she wanted to be a man or anything that you would have people on YouTube and everywhere else believe. You know, a bit of a leather because she's got short hair and all that. All the shit that's been coming out before this film has landed. I don't know about you, but she played it.
She wasn't none of that.
She played it properly straight, pardon the pun. And I know, I thought, and I'd want to see a film of her.
Yeah.
Was it the same actress from the Supergirl show?
No.
We can't do that anymore.
But no, overall, yeah, like I say, but coming into this, I was thinking, what am I going to say about this film? Because I've been talking about it for so long.
Yes.
And I've been comparing it to the graphic novel. So I thought, let's get rid of the graphic novel out of my mind. I had to say that a little bit, but let's get that out of my mind. Just purely as a film. Yes, the CGI was bad. It was very bad. Yes, they played on nostalgia. Yes, it was a bit of a mess in places, but overall, talking it through, there's a lot more good to say about it than what I thought there would be. Yeah. And actually, I'd rather go and see that again than Guardians, Ant-Man, and any of that shit. I'd rather go and see that again.
There was a quick coordinator in for the Flash movie.
Yes, there was.
A sensible one that thinks, right, okay, we've had 20 minutes. This is a fun popcorn movie. Let's have a quip. Throw one in. Come on. This is fun. Guys. We've got time travel. We've got his mum dying. Come on, it's all getting a bit grim. Let's throw a quip. So,
and actually the quips, because it is a sad movie.
They were good.
And it is a sad movie with what happens at the end and what's happening throughout and those certain bits it's playing on, but especially the ending. And I'm not going to give away too much spoilers, but they lose basically. But I'm not going to say how or what happens. I'm not going to say
spoiler, but on our planet.
But I'm not going to say how, why, or what the resolution to that is. No, but initially they're losing. But that's why I think the quips work in this, because it just lightens the mood and those like dour moments, and it just was peppered in nicely throughout. It wasn't a Taika Waititi doing every scene as funny. There was moments where they allowed it to breathe. There was moments where they allowed for the sort of the emotional payoffs to set in. But then they broke it up every now and then with some nice quips.
Yeah,
it's got well-balanced counterpoints.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
I think so. It just didn't get on your nerves. Like you keep rolling wires,
but
quip after quip after quip, and everything's stupid. But you know, he's got foot in mouth disease, like the Barry Allen. He goes back to sea, and that's where the comedy comes from, or the quips. That's where the quips kind of because the Barry Allen we know from the movies we've seen before, you know, Justice League, that. So our world's Barry Allen, he's intense. He's intense. So that the comedy comes from The other one.
The other one.
The younger version. The younger
Say
version.
the younger one. Yeah, say the younger
Yeah.
one. I just thought it was really nice. The only bit for me, if I was going to slate it for anything, is they really get Batman wrong.
Mm.
They really
Which one?
get Batman wrong. But he didn't spoil it for me. The Affleck one at the beginning, totally skidding along. He's got his batarang with a rope trying to catch these gang of terrorists.
It's in the trailer when he's going along the motorway and he's jumping over cars and stuff like that.
And you think, oh, Batman don't skid along on his heel since 1963. You know,
it was the Affleck Batman.
It was gone and done.
Yeah, it wasn't really handled, but it was done all within the beginning.
What's going on with his mask?
I know. I'm glad you noticed that.
Affleck's mask in like the Snyderverse was grim, wasn't it? And it kind of went in. He kind of had a bit of a scowl going on.
Okay, the lines.
Yeah, the mask was going. Oh, the mask is like dug in.
But I like the
eyes like going hello.
Yeah, but I like the fact they kept it to the comic accurate colours. I must say, I did like that because we haven't seen that for a long time. We haven't seen that because
it was Affleck's Batman, and you know how much I love Affleck as Batman. But, you know, stop getting Affleck wrong. It was like, yeah, they got that wrong at the beginning, but you're over it. That was what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people slate the Snyderverse, but I personally enjoyed. Take away the other ones. I wasn't a major fan of Wonder Woman. It was a good film, but I wouldn't rave about it. Take away Aquaman when that came out. That was just a CGI mess. And take away Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman,
Mermaid Man.
Yeah, Mermaid Man. But take away them and Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, the extended version, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. This falls into that in a way. It falls into that, and I have enjoyed those films. I'm kind of sad that that's over and they're going in the direction that they're going, but it was the way they've handled DC hasn't been very good, to be honest. So it's you know, in a way, I respect them for starting afresh, but they've just messed it up so much. They had the perfect cast with Momoa as Aquaman, Affleck as the Batman, Cavill as Superman, Gal Gadot as the Wonder Woman. They had the perfect cast there. They just haven't, and they haven't really done them justice. Yeah.
He slipped that one in.
He wrote that down, didn't he? As the 1 year anniversary, you had to do something awesome.
Quick coordinator.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah.
but saying that, so we're giving this sort of, can we say, positive review of The Flash?
I'm giving it. I'm saying go and see The Flash.
It's bombing at the box office.
It was.
Is it?
Again.
Yeah.
I think it's saturation.
It's
oversaturation.
Maybe a little bit too long, but not like 2.5 hours where you're doing some of these Marvel films and you think, why am I still here?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit long towards the end, but I've got to say, overall, when that's back on the TV, you know, like I've seen it in the cinema. I'm not going to go back to the cinema and see it. But you know what? When that comes back onto streaming or Netflix get it or whatever it's going to go on, Dismal, it won't go on Dismal, will it? HBO Max, whatever it is. Do you know what? I would probably sit down and I will enjoy that again. It was a fun. It was a fun film. They brought the fun back.
I must say though, the CGI was a massive.
Oh yes.
Massive issue, especially
on a small screen.
Yeah, no, especially in the Speed Force. But put it this way: the Flash TV show on CW did the Speed Force better than this movie.
Oh, ouch!
The Speed Force, how they did it was almost like, so when he's going back in time.
That's a bit harsh.
No, it's true. But because when he's going back in time, okay, he's in this sphere, and his legs are going backwards, and he's in this like Colosseum, and there's all these images all around this Colosseum. But it was like, remember The Mummy Returns with the Scorpion King at the end?
Oh God, yes.
It was like today's version of that. It was horrendous, the CGI there.
I don't remember that.
Do you think that we've been spoiled, or do you really think that the quality has just gone way down? Because I think it's a combination of both at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
Our eyes are really tuned into.
the CGI is that bad that's one of the main criticisms of the film. The directors come out and saying it was supposed to be that bad. The directors literally come out and said, yeah, it was designed that way, so it was supposed to look like that. Really. And especially because when you know the history of this film, it was announced before the first Justice League came out, before Whedon's version of Justice League came out. They've had 6 directors. Since then, the Snyder version of Justice League has come out. You've had the pandemic. You've had multiple reshoots. You've had probably about 6 years on this movie, minimum, and your CGI is that bad.
Well, it's 6 years old.
There's no excuse.
No, even I mean, think back to some movies that, like, I remember. I know I keep bringing it up, but I do remember the special effects for Iron Man being pretty dang good. And I know that's machinery, which is easier to pull off. But there are things you can do to amplify the quality of the CGI that you're doing. And I think, it's people taking shortcuts. It's also a shortage of special effects artists because they are spread out super thin. And then you get people who just want to crank out movies as quickly as possible. Yeah. So, I mean, even though they've been sitting on this one for so long, I guarantee that there weren't people working on it as hard as we think. This was not a full-time job for people. They were working on other things. And then they're like, oh, wait, we got to come back and finish this Flash thing because they're going to come out in 2 years. Like.
And one other point, we did say there'd be a third Batman. And there was a third Batman in the film.
Wait.
Not the one we thought.
That made me laugh. That did make me laugh.
that made me laugh as well. But yeah, there was a third Batman.
You both want to know because it's a mate.
I know already.
Oh dear.
There's only 2 I can think of.
So it starts off with Affleck's Batman in this day.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then we go back to the Keaton Batman, and then goes through the Speed Force, and this is where you see Christopher Reeve, and the actress that played Supergirl back in the late.
Adam West is there as well, isn't he?
You see Adam West Batman, and you hear the.
Okay, that was the one I was thinking. So then the only other one I can think of is the one that kind of relaunched the whole superhero Batman.
Right at the end of the film, where you think, but this is what I was enjoying about the film as well, because you know that there's going to be something. He's done something really, really tiny to the time stream. So even though throughout the entire film, everyone's been saying you can't go back in time and do things, the butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect, yeah.
Nevertheless, he's done a tiny little thing which I liked. Like, he does this tiny little thing and he gets away with it, or you think he has, and then right at the very, very end, he's on the phone, but he gets a call from Bruce Wayne, who's his best mate in the whole wide world. It starts off with Affleck. He spent the whole film with Keaton.
Are you going to tell everyone?
Do you want to know who gets out of the car?
Yeah, we've got it, haven't we? I think we got it now.
Clooney.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, like it's an advert for coffee pods.
I was about to say
oh my God.
Give me Tassimo.
He doesn't really even say anything, does he? He just sort of smiles at him.
Yeah, he kind of smiles. He says a couple of words, what are you talking about? I haven't changed, or whatever it is, the throwaway line of dialogue. But I've got to admit, by that point, I was rolling up. And I thought, well, that's the perfect way to end this silly film. Because it was silly. This boy's gone back in time and he's done this, he's done that. I've got to admit, I did laugh, but it didn't it wasn't an angry laugh. I was just, oh, you've done it. You've done it.
Followed by the end credits. Followed by the end credits of the dog falling from the hospital in slow-mo.
You see him in slow motion, so the credits are rolling, and the dog from where, like Liz just said, all the babies are falling down, but this dog, he was the mascot, but he's got his tongue hanging right out, and all
the way you describe that scene, I keep thinking of Deadpool.
there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's a bit
an element of it.
Irreverence.
Yeah.
To the Flash, which actually, now you've said that, Tayters, thinking about it, that irreverence to not kind of Flash as an anti-hero, but he isn't really a hero in the strictest sense of the word, is he? But
no,
I don't like the deconstructionist stuff with the, you know, when you just deconstruct it and turn it into the Boys or Deadpool or that, it works once, quickly, and it's funny. But I don't think you can carry it on. But let's see what the new Deadpool film will bring. But have you seen the trailer for Kraven the Hunter?
Yes.
That's a proper red band trailer, isn't it?
It should just be banned.
It should be
no red band. Just banned.
Made him a hero.
It just wasn't. It just didn't seem like Kraven, did it?
It's not the Kraven the Hunter I remember. It was like the vibe was just all wrong.
So Amber, what was you thinking from?
So I have no experience with who Kraven is. If you guys are talking about comics or novels, I have no clue. But watching that trailer, I just got this, it's going to be so bad it's good vibe from it, because it really has that. And it's going to be right on the edge of it, but just far enough that you're like, yep, it is so bad. It is actually worth watching. I won't go to theaters to see it, but I'll probably sit down with my family and some night when we're all super bored and want to laugh, because that's what we're going to be doing at the whole thing.
Yeah. Super bored.
Well, it's also, there was some show that recently came out, gosh darn it, I can't remember what it was, about this guy who was super beefy, and he was just such a badass fighter, and I don't know, he was like a spy. I don't remember enough about it, but everybody was raving over how cool this show was. And I watched it, and it was so ridiculous. I was like, this is like some man's wet dream about what he wants himself to be someday. Was
that Reacher by any chance?
It wasn't Reacher. Because I remember it wasn't Reacher. It was something else. Because Reacher's not beefy, right?
No, Reacher.
Oh, he's a bit of a lump. Oh, he's the TV show guy, not Tom Cruise.
I think I might be thinking about, maybe we are thinking of the same guy. He was wearing a t-shirt that was like far too small for him through half the thing. Reacher, R-E-A-C-H-E. Come on, stupid phone being slow. But like, you know what? Those kind of shows, like, it's sort of like a Vin Diesel vibe, you know?
Who's that? What? The messaging. You're doing this.
I was scratching.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, I've got a...
Yeah, it's that one. It was Reacher. You're right.
It was Reacher.
Yeah. It was Reacher.
We all enjoyed that.
You all enjoyed that? Oh my gosh. But did you enjoy it because you're like, that was amazing? Or were you watching it like that was so freaking ridiculous, but cool? Like,
cool.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's the new Vin Diesel is what I think. That's what it is. It's
funny enough that actor's in the new Fast and Furious as well.
Yes,
Fast X.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, how funny.
Yeah, but like we said before, everybody's in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
But it's mad though, isn't it? So we've sort of given like a semi-positive review of The Flash. We'll say positive review of The Flash, and it is bombing. And I would say that deserves more than what Guardians or Ant-Man or anything like that's done. But then you get something like Fast X, and it is totally ridiculous. It's the same for the way Vin Diesel is in those films now. He is like a superhero. It's ridiculous. He's got superhuman strength. He just fights. He's a badass. It's not about car racing. I mean, Fast 9, they sent the car to space.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
Amazing.
And it's just so over the top, more over the top than what you'd get in a superhero film, in a way. But it's just delivering on every level.
Yeah.
For the fans of that, it's just delivering on every level and it's smashing it. Whereas you get a film like The Flash,
they know what their fans like and they're giving it to them.
Yeah, exactly. And you get a film like The Flash and it does deserve better than what it's doing. It does deserve a lot because it is literally bombing, completely bombing. It hasn't got nowhere near what it was supposed to get.
What are the critics saying about it?
It's a mixture. It's very mixed reviews from what I've seen. You'll get and I kind of feel like Warner Brothers kind of want it. They want it to make money, but they kind of want it to have a lot of criticism, so that way it justifies the fact that they've rebooted it. They're rebooting it all with like James Gunn in charge, because if this was a major success and everyone's raving about it, which is what they want, so they need to make money, but at the same time doing that, it will make the reboot of it all with the DCU with James Gunn in charge, it will make it kind of, oh, should we have been doing this?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like the critics side of it, they're going to be a bit harsher on it, and I think they have been. But I've seen some reviews where they're sort of, and I think as well, sorry, the controversy around Ezra Miller, I think that's put a lot of people off as well.
Yeah,
and I think that could be another reason why it's bombing, because it's not going nowhere near what it was supposed to be. Yeah.
I think it's a shame.
Yeah, I was just saying that. I think it deserves more.
Because I thought I was going to be all in on it.
I thought I was as well.
Low in expectations.
Well, I don't know.
How long has it been out now?
It came out on Friday. It came out on Friday.
It might. This might be one of those films though that takes a little while to kind of roll out, like because I think people expect all of these movies to be trash now.
Yeah, well, I'm eating my words. I predicted this to be the shitter of the year at the beginning of the year, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would recommend, and as always, I mean, these two know Amber, that, you know, I always, 99% of the time I go with my son, and I always kind of turn around to him and go, so?
What did you think?
Yeah, and I let him go first, but he just went, oh, I enjoyed that. But this is the one that he doesn't watch. He's done with Star Wars since Mandalorian Series 2. He didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. He will not watch Secret Invasion. You know, I can't recommend Dismal. He's done with Marvel. Up on it, but he's done with it. He's done.
Yeah.
They have done him. He's one of those that have dropped off. They're not subscribing. That's why Dismal are in the state they are. But he wanted to see this film. So must be something there. I mean, I know it is a mess. It is a bit of a mess, you know. It's nowhere near a classic, but it was just a decent, you know, hour and 50 minutes maybe. But
take you away from reality.
What exactly what it should be. Create the world. Like I say, we don't want to see this time travel can be that thing, can't it? Where, you know, I did like the jokes they made about Back to the Future.
Yeah, I was about to say Back to the Future. That was quite funny. I enjoyed that.
It's funny, you know, Eric Stoltz, he's going on about Michael J. Fox being in Back to the Future, and they're going, no, Eric Stoltz. And he's going, Eric Stoltz. And then they're saying something about who's in Footloose and who's in some other, all the 80s film. But
yeah,
it wasn't all that. It was just that moment, and then it's gone.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Into the, what's it? I think it was pitch nice. In that respect, but, anyway,
definitely.
That's that. So what's next? Come on, that's the latest film.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Who's watched any of the episodes?
Seen a few.
I've let them two kick off. You can kick us off. What's it?
We all watched
or not? Well, I saw.
Or did we just watch the ones that we were?
I just watched the one that I was going to watch. I wanted to watch more because it was decent. So.
Nice. I agree. Go on. What episode did you watch, Amber, or did you watch several?
I watched just one. But I intend to watch more because I was satisfied with this one. Yeah. It was called 79. Why was it called 79? I don't even know. That number is not making sense to me, but the name of it was 79. It was about an Indian woman who works at a shoe store, and everybody's very racist towards her all the time. And she's super frustrated and imagines herself like clobbering all the customers and her boss and her coworker. And she's kicked down to the basement because of the food that she eats, how it stinks or something. And, you know, it's a very strong smell. They're like, you have to eat in the basement now. So she goes down to the basement where the janitor used to work or something and finds this talisman. And she had cut her finger, and when she touches the talisman and her blood gets on it, it activates the talisman, and this demon appears. And she loves Bonnie M. So she, the demon is like, oh, don't be afraid of me, don't be afraid of me, and turns into Bonnie M. And,
Rah, rah, Rasputin.
Yes. Oh, and that song, that song I think plays at the very beginning.
Episode,
Okay, yeah.
79. That's when they come out, wasn't it? That's when they were formed.
Was it? It may be okay. That would make
That
sense
was the
actually if
year.
that's the date, the year. Okay, yeah.
Member of the fan club.
So the demon, who was my favorite character in the whole show or episode, he tells her the world is going to end in 3 days unless you kill a human sacrifice one every 3 days. And so she was just like this, she was very meek and quiet and alone in the world because her mother just recently died and never actually wanted to do harm on somebody. And now she has to go and murder 3 people. And she decides she wants to kill like bad guys. But of course, the first one she kills, she doesn't know if he's a bad guy or not. And the demon's like, oh, he's a bad guy. Like, you should kill him because he molests his like 6-year-old daughter, and shows her a vision of that happening. And so she does it. But you never know through the whole story. Do we give away spoilers here, or we want this spoiler free?
Spoiler alert. Spoiler.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
Go
Okay.
for it.
I was expecting at the end that we were going to get to the end and find out that the demon's been lying to her all this time and, all this stuff. But in the end, he wasn't lying. All the guys that she did kill were bad. And then she doesn't end up killing enough, because she does end up killing, I think, 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
It's 3, and she attempts to kill a 4th, like a politician, but doesn't get all the way through with it before a police officer stops her. And she's in the police office, she's at the headquarters, and they're not interrogating her, when they interview you after you've been found guilty of trying to assassinate a politician. And she's like, I tried to save you all, but the world is going to end in like 3 minutes. And, and I'm so sorry, I did my best. They think she's nuts, and they kind of feel sorry for her because they think she genuinely believes that she, is saving the world. And nothing happens. And she's like devastated. But then all of a sudden you hear sirens like 5 minutes later outside, and like nuclear war has hit, and like all of the country is hit by nuclear bombs and stuff. So she was actually saving the world. Unfortunately, because she didn't finish her mission, the demon failed. And so he is sentenced to eternity in oblivion. And he asks, well, why don't you just come with me? And she's like, okay. So they go off to oblivion together, and it was cute. I enjoyed it. I thought I was going to be really bugged because I was like, they're really pushing this anti-racism political agenda, but it didn't bug me because in the end, I was like, is she going to kill this guy or not? Like, and is the demon lying? I got invested in trying to find out if this was real or not. And then I was happy that it was real at the end, because if you get to the end and it wasn't real, it would have been like, haha, lessons learned, and it would have been stupid. But for it to really turn out to be a science fiction that, yes, this was all real and she didn't save the world and now we're all screwed, I thought that was great. It was a good, satisfying way to end it.
Because there seems to be a real vibe around this series. I've only watched a couple of episodes, and it seems more like a Twilight Zone or an Outer Limits.
Yeah.
The previous Black, and nothing wrong with that. I've enjoyed, whether they're good or bad. Not every episode has hit for me. No. I think that's for most people. But we all come back because we want to. I think we'd all rather see a bold experiment, sort of storytelling and characterization. What we were talking about a bit earlier, character and story, drags you through it. Sometimes you miss the mark. But Charlie Brooker, who writes, has he written every episode of this? I don't know.
Yes.
Again, so I mean, I've got to love him for that. I've got to love him for that. But he hasn't gone for the tech.
He hasn't. He's gone
tech, but
he's gone another way this season.
Twilight Zone Outer Limits. I've enjoyed that element of it.
Yeah, definitely. So I watched episode 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So I've watched every episode of Black Mirror previously. This season I've only watched 2 and 3. So episode 2 was Lock Henry. So Lock Henry, I must say, bearing in mind I've watched every other Black Mirror episode previous to this, that is my favourite episode of all Black Mirror.
Did you watch it, Hog?
Well, no, I haven't seen Lock Henry.
Right. So Lock Henry, you start off. So it's this little random village in Scotland, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And the son comes back with his American girlfriend, and they have been at a film school basically, and they want to make a documentary about this random bloke with eggs. But when he gets there,
with eggs, I'm sorry, say that again.
There's a random bloke that protects red eggs or something.
Eggs. They're red.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
It's really stupid. But when they get there, things start to unravel that about the history of this town, and the son starts to tell his missus that, you know, back in the day, this was a booming tourist place, but there was a bloke called Ian the Deer that basically kidnapped and tortured tourists. So since that all came, and his own dad was a copper and got shot by this Ian the Deer when he attempted to arrest him. So the girlfriend tries to convince him, we need to do a documentary about this. We can say it as a real life documentary. We can go for it, get the story out there. Not many people know about this. And they even mention it'd be like one of those Netflix true crime specials, right? And he's like, no, it's too close to home. It's about my dad. Anyway, she convinces him to do it. And as they start to dig into it, things start to get a little bit weird. And there's some revelations. And I'm going to go spoiler heavy. It turns out that Ian the Deer didn't do this on his own. His dad and his own mum, who's still alive, were involved in doing it. And when his missus finds out, she gets killed. She tries to run away and like falls on a rock and hits her head and dies. He's locked up in a hospital because his neck was injured in a car accident. But the company that they've sold the rights to carry on with this documentary. So then he's put on stage winning a BAFTA for the documentary about his own fucking parents murdering and torturing people, and is just left sitting in a room for nothing. And they find video footage of his parents torturing these people in like some weird sex thing in this like fucking dungeon with this bloke. It is so messed up.
Yeah.
But it's one of those episodes that makes you think afterwards, if that makes sense. I personally thoroughly enjoyed that episode.
It wasn't a science fiction or
no,
or anything. It was just thriller.
It was just people making a documentary.
Pure thriller.
Uncovering
that.
the truth as a pure thriller. The next episode I watched was episode 3. It's called Beyond the Sea. Now this was sci-fi.
Yes.
So you've got 2 people on a space station.
Of course you liked it. No, sorry, go ahead.
It's the bloke from Breaking Bad. 100%.
I thought Liz was going to say a bit too close to home.
Well, there was a couple of technical issues that I saw in there, like things that wouldn't happen. But overall,
it doesn't happen in deep space, Charlie.
No, yeah, exactly. But you got the bloke from Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, and you got Josh Hartnett. So they are in. It's set in an alternate 1969. And they're on this space station, and they're up there for God knows how long. So they have like a robotic version of themselves on Earth. So basically, once they're up, they've got to stay up on the space station, but they can plug in the space station and take over the robotic version of themselves on Earth.
Okay.
So they can still interact with their families. Josh Hartnett's one, there's these hippies that break into his house, and they don't like the fact there's robots and all this. So they murder him and murder all his family. So now Josh Hartnett's character can't log into his body down on Earth, and he's stuck on this space station. He's slowly going a little bit insane. So the other bloke, Aaron Paul's character, allows him to use his body because he just wants to go on Earth, have a little walk around and stuff like that.
I think I know where this is going. Keep going.
No, you don't, because it does a few twisty turnies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I thought exactly the same.
So he starts to inhabit Breaking Bad bloke's body, and he's on his little like lodge with his wife and his kids, and all he wants to do is go out, paint, and then go back inside, and then go back up. It starts to escalate when he starts to draw pictures of his wife. So you can start to see he's got a bit of an attraction to his wife. And eventually it builds to the point when Aaron Paul's character is sort of like, well, no, I'm not going to let you use, if you're going to abuse this, I'm not going to let you use my body, and you're going to be stuck up here. Whilst Josh Hartnett's in his body, he starts to try and come onto his wife, and that's
where I thought it was gonna go. Okay, sorry, keep going.
But But Aaron Paul finds out about this, and he goes, whilst he's logged in, he's stuck up on the space station. He goes into his room and he finds all these drawings of his wife, and the drawings are of his wife naked. So now he's thinking, oh, my wife's been fucking him. So he goes back and he stops him from using his body. He goes back in to start having a go at his missus, saying, how's he got these drawings of you? And she's denying everything. And then it starts to escalate even more when he's like, no, you're not having it. You're not having the body. They have a little punch up on the space station. You're not having this body. You can't go back down on Earth, etc. And then he's back in his body, Aaron Paul, on Earth, and he gets an alert that he's got to go back up to the space station. He goes back up and there's an emergency. And so he has to suit up and go outside the space station. And you think that Josh Hartnett has faked this emergency so that way he can lock him out of the space station and then do whatever he wants to do and let him die and then take his synthetic body on Earth. But he lets him back in. And when he lets him back in, he just sort of stares at him. And then Aaron Paul's like, well, where's my tag? Where's my login so I can get into my body? And he pulls it out of his pocket and he panics and he goes running. Aaron Paul goes running back to his body, logs in, and he's covered in blood. And he goes through his house and his family are all dead. Josh Hartnett's character has murdered everyone. It's fucked.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's fucked. And so Aaron Paul goes back up, logs out of his body, is back on the space station and confronts him. And literally it ends with him staring at Josh Hartnett and Josh Hartnett just pushing out a chair, going, take a seat.
Yeah.
And it just ends
twist,
like that. It's
the twist on that is they allude to it earlier in the episode that they cannot do this mission. One person cannot do. If one person died, they both die.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So now, after he's killed his family, they're stuck on this space station together.
Yeah.
To get back to Earth, he has to live with him.
But that's
The bloke that's just killed his family.
Okay, but so why did he kill his family? I'm a little confused.
Because he's a Fruit Loop.
He's a Fruit Loop. He had
Did he kill? Did he kill his own family?
No, his family got murdered.
His family got murdered.
I guess that was the trigger.
Yeah. So from that, he's gone insane. Has grown an obsession over his wife because he couldn't have them. He killed them all.
Okay.
And now they're stuck on the space station. It was a good episode, I must admit. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a nice little bit to it. Did you watch that one as well, Tayters?
I watched the. I actually watched the first 4. I managed to get through the first 4. It was only the one that you see, Amber, 79. I started watching it, and unfortunately, things took me away, and I didn't get to finish it. But
it starts a bit slower anyway, so
yeah,
it picks up when she finally gets the talisman. So.
Yeah.
But how refreshing is it to watch something where they let the grown-ups play with the toys?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's one and done as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One and
and
done.
they're not long. They're not super long. They're nice.
So what was
episodes? One done, finished. Yeah.
So what was episode 4, Tayters?
Hang on. So episode 4 was called Maisie Day. It's basically about this movie star and another character she's I suppose she's the main character actually. She's a paparazzi, female paparazzi person, takes pictures of celebrities, earns money. There's a little bit of conflict in the paparazzi girl. She's not doing great at it. She's struggling to earn money, pay her bills, what have you. She witnesses some other paparazzi seriously abuse this other star. So you see her physically pull back, and it's just like you can see it in her head. I don't want to do this anymore. But then this massive job comes in. They get pictures of this Maisie Day, and we'll pay you 30 grand. Right. So it's just like all the paparazzi are sort of bang on it. We got to find this girl. We got to find this girl. Anyway, she goes into. Sorry.
What is Maisie Day? Is she an actress?
Or... Oh yes, she's an actress. Yeah, she's like big movie star. Yeah,
Marilyn Monroe type.
Sorry,
was it Marilyn Monroe type?
No, I
don't know why.
Marilyn Monroe type. If I had to liken it to somebody, I got the sort of Keira Knightley vibe.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. I don't. That may not be what they were going for. That's just what I saw. But yeah, so we sort of like from the paparazzi girl's point of view, she's trying to get out, but she's dragged back in because it's 30 grand. It's a big job, blah, blah, blah. She wants to do it. with the actual actress, we see her rap on a set, and her PA comes up, gives her a coat and her bits and pieces, and says, "Oh, there's a little treat in the pocket." Turns out it's a bag of mushrooms. So she goes home, she's dropping mushrooms, and she's tripping off her head.
Hey.
Got no cigarettes, so she decides to drive to the local wherever it is to go and buy some cigarettes, and she's absolutely off her nut. She's drinking wine, dropping mushrooms. She's like driving along, staring at her hand, and bang, she hits something.
Well, that's where you should only drop one.
Eh?
You only drop one.
Yeah, well, I think we only actually see her drop one.
Drop one.
Yeah.
So I've been told.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, you carry
The
on.
size of a portobello.
But yeah, but that,
Yeah.
that's just the way I walk, all right?
Yeah. But anyway, so she's like tripping and she's staring at her hand and she's away with the fairies, and bang, she hits something with her car. And she sort of sobers up instantly because she gets out the door and there's a body. Now, at this point in you can't see what it is. You don't know what it is. You can just see it's a body. Anyway, that scene ends pretty quick. Blah, blah, blah. We get back to the paparazzi's chasing her down. Finds out where she lives through a picture she finds online with the name of a takeaway on the side of the bag. So anyway, goes to the takeaway, manages to get her address, tracks her down, spying on her, and she ends up getting in a car with what looks like a therapist or someone who deals with people, helping them out of drugs, drug rehab. That's the sort of vibe you get from it. But she follows her. She gets caught following her because you see from the scenes, there's literally two cars on the road. There's the one that Maisie Day's in. There's the one with the paparazzi girl. There's no other cars around. You got big, long, wide shots, and there's not a car for miles. So it's just like, they know she's following us. They get to a diner. They pull over. Big, heavy guy gets out, stabs all her tires. They get in and fuck off and drive away. She calls for help. It's one of her paparazzi friends. So they come and help. They've managed to find out where this facility is that she's been taken to. But some of the other paparazzis are now followed him to her. Mm-hmm. And there's sort of like, there's a group of them. They're going to go in and they're going to take photos of her. When they get in there, which they do have to break in, she's chained to a bed. So it looks wrong all of a sudden. She got big, heavy chains around her neck. She's bolted down to the floor. She can't move. So they're sort of like, they free her. And then out of the blue, she looks up at the sky. There's a full moon. And then you find out the thing she hit was a werewolf. And she starts to turn. And the turning was actually real. It was practical effects, no VFX at all.
Oh, nice.
It took me right back to American Werewolf in London.
Yes.
Yeah,
wow.
really well handled. Yeah,
I was not expecting that's where I was going to go from that description. From what you were saying, I was not expecting you to just come out with werewolf.
Neither did I. I when you see her chained to the bed, you think, oh my God, they've kidnapped her. It's all pretense, and they've kidnapped her for some reason. But no, she turns into a werewolf. They're trying to escape. The two paparazzis that followed her friend that picked her up, they get dealt with pretty much straight away. She chews them up and disposes of them, run through the woods. They manage to get back to the diner. There's a cop in the diner. They burst through the doors. They're trying to buzz everything in front of the doors to stop this werewolf getting in. The cops going nuts, like, stop, what are you doing? Stop, it all kicks off. And eventually this werewolf gets in, just rips everybody apart, except for our female paparazzi girl. She manages to get the cop's gun. As the dog goes to attack her, poof, she pops it one, and that's it. She then hands Maisie Day, who's turned back to the actual actress, the gun to pop herself, and she takes a photo of it while she does it. It's
wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It was a fun watch. It was a fun watch, but it's mental. It's just like, I didn't expect the werewolf thing. But, from that moment, they burst into that room and she's chained down and she looks up at the moon. She starts to go. The flashbacks start to happen and you see that, what she saw hitting the road was a werewolf. And it obviously bit her. But
I know Netflix have done some shitters.
Yeah.
Which I think all of the streaming services have. None of them are completely innocent in the streaming wars, content creation, whatever you want to call it. But I've got to admit, to allow one man, i.e. Charlie Brooker, the creative freedom to do, you know, the episode.
Crazy stories.
Well, they're getting good. Well, they're getting good directors on board as well.
Yeah, but they've put groups of adults together. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, the director of episode 2, the director of episode 2 was, he done 13 episodes of Daredevil.
Oh wow.
So
And
there you go.
Yeah.
In this environment we're in at the moment, this, you know, is it streaming wars? Is it content competition? I don't know what it is. But it seems like, doesn't it seem like, how we're gushing about these episodes we're enjoying?
Yeah.
How refreshing it is. And when I talk to my daughter about like what I you know, she'll say, "Oh, Dad, you won't like this or won't like that," whatever her and her boyfriend are watching. But they did binge. This latest series of Black Mirror. And said, yeah, some episodes of this, you know, some episodes, but that is that's what you get from an anthology.
Yeah.
And Liz knows more than anyone how much I do love an anthology.
Yes.
The discipline of a short story. And I think, Amber, you like to distill, instead of spending 6.5 hours telling a story, and I'm not saying that's easy, but my God, when you do it in 50 minutes,
get
a
fair play. And it makes you think about it afterwards as well.
And Charlie Brooker, whether or not, you know, but then it's not like he's doing 20 episodes a season. He kind of comes back. I mean, how many episodes did series 5 at the last season?
Only 3.
Yeah, but I like that. I kind of like the non-format. So
yeah,
he's got these ideas, but Netflix, I think, should be applauded because, like I said right at the beginning, that not every idea they have is wonderful and a hit. You know, their adaptations, some of their anime adaptations and all that are like. But with this one, I think they've got to be applauded because it's grown-ups are back in the room.
What was
can of worms for me though?
I think anyway.
What was episode 1 about, Hog?
Oh yeah.
Episode 1. What happened in episode 1?
Oh, what? Joni's awful.
Oh
yeah. What happened?
Oh,
what is it? What is it?
I think it's an awesome. Rather than go through the entire story.
Did you love it?
Yeah.
So did I.
The whole episode. Joni's awful.
I think it's the highest rated of all the episodes.
Is it? Because it is so
daring.
Money how we live with these devices.
Yeah.
And what we sign up for when we scroll down. Yeah. I've got a new phone.
Click yes to the terms and conditions.
Yeah. And I tell you what, and how they from there, it is such a darkly. It is so that the humour is so dark in it.
Yeah.
Following her life and where she's got to be honest with the decisions she makes in one day or one morning. Just going to work, her boyfriend, we're introduced to this character who the boyfriend is, you know, the alarm goes off. The boyfriend's in bed with her. She gets up, she's brushing her teeth. Suddenly, her life is broadcast because she signs the terms and conditions. But it just makes you think like, I'm a nice person. This whole episode, like Joni's awful, she really isn't. But these little decisions she made that morning, she's got to sack someone at work. But when it's put up in the screen in front of her, played by Salma Hayek, which was so, again, delicious.
Salma Hayek?
Yeah. Everything is played so deliciously for comedic value. It was an awesome. I just love the fact that they had.
What is it? So it's all about social media then?
Yeah. The conceit of it all is that they are allowed to film her life. This is the conceit of it. I don't really want to do too much other than that. So the conceit of it is that the whoever owns the proprietary software of this can film her life whatever that is measuring.
Yeah,
they've got everything.
they
But
can
Selma
use it.
Hayek isn't acting her life. She has signed her likeness to allow a CGI representation of Joan, this woman. Joan so Selma Hayek gets the ump because when Joan gets the ump with her life being portrayed, she just thinks, right, I'm going to do. She does this outrageous act because I don't really want to spoil the episode.
No,
because it's so funny. It's so properly funny.
it's awkwardly funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're thinking, you know, we do sign this, but I think that's from what you three have been describing of the other episodes.
Yeah.
This one is closest to what they've done in Black Mirror in the past.
Yeah.
Which is what's all this tech doing to us at the moment? Because what they're saying is Salma Hayek at one point goes to her solicitor and says, well, when did I agree to have my likeness? What, how can my likeness be put on what she's just done? And he goes, well, yeah. And they keep showing the clauses in this big wad contracts. Like Joan, like the just the girl in real life, they go, well, yeah, you know, when you signed up for the phone, you did sign that clause. Then suddenly you got half hour later, you got Salma Hayek with the ump with her solicitor going, and she's hamming it up. She's hamming it up gloriously. And everything about it is the tech, what we sign up for, what it's capable of, and where it's going.
Nice.
Where it's going. But
it sounds like Black Mirror's come back on form because Series 5 wasn't that great, but
yeah,
it's back. It's back on form.
But was that not a pandemic? Do you think? I'm going to say I'm going to give.
No, it was all pre-pandemic. It's been off the screen since before the pandemic. It's been off.
That episode, Joni's awful. The bit that I loved about that is it catches up with her day. So she goes home, sits down with her boyfriend, watches TV, discovers this TV show where she's literally watching her life. Everything that she'd done during that day, she's watching back. Yeah. You get to the point in the episode where Selma Hayek is playing Joan, comes home, sits with her boyfriend, turns on the TV, Netflix kicks up, and it's Joan on this one is played by Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett, so it's like that Black Mirror.
It's
like
layers of Oh, it's crazy.
Cate Blanchett is playing.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
I think Salma Hayek was superb, but the writing, the writing for Salma Hayek was spot on. Even taking the piss out of the fact that she alludes to the fact that she doesn't even speak proper English. So how can I be playing this role? Like she's this year. Like, I can't even speak proper English. She's going.
So I've only seen obviously what I've watched now with this latest season, but before that I'd only seen the first episode of season 1. And then
the prime
minister in the pig. Yeah, that was so. It's just like, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch anymore up until now, but now I've got to go back and watch all this. But
I was put off with that.
See, what I did was I came to Black Mirror just before the pandemic, and what I did was I just literally read the little synopses of the episodes. And then I went straight in on season 1 on episode 3, which is the mind implants with the memory implants. And that captured me. And then I went back and watched everything else. So I think it depends on what episode, because it is that anthology. I think it depends on what episode. I mean, I would say my favorite episode, apart from the one I've just seen prior to this, was San Junipero, which was in season 4, where basically people in a retirement home are plugged into an AI where they can basically live in a virtual reality and live out their younger years.
Yeah.
And I thought that episode was superb. That episode was amazing. And they also done the interactive film as well, which wasn't great, but
you know, Charlie Brooker as a singular creator, a bit like Michael Flanagan. And there are a few out there, but why is it that we can't get more grown-ups like this fantasy stuff? And we're not talking about really serious shit. Sometimes the episode will be, sometimes it will be a werewolf, sometimes it will be the end of the world with a demon, you know, ha ha muhaha.
Yeah.
So we're talking fantasy. So why can't we have, please God or baby Jesus, grown-ups doing all the other stuff we love, which that one particular company owns all rights to? Can you imagine what these grown-ups getting hold of?
Do you think that there's a big noose around the neck of any writer that is working for Disney because they're going to be so specific about like what they want? And the good writers don't want that because they need that creative freedom. Like Black Mirror is a perfect example of somebody who has been given total freedom to do whatever they want. And clearly from the previous season, was it the previous one that only had 3, deciding, you know what, I came up with 8 stories, but only 3 of them are good enough.
That's it. So you had an editor or a producer saying, no, you come up with 8, 5 of them are shit, but we're going to make 3.
Yeah.
But we all love that because we only want to see the good stuff, not everything you feel your brain via your mouth.
And crazy enough, I hate myself for saying this, the best episode of season 5 was the fucking Miley Cyrus episode. By far. I hate myself for saying it, but that was a good episode. That was quality. That episode, very, very well done.
I've got to go back and watch it all.
Yeah. Can I sing Miley Cyrus now? Boom, clap, 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 boom, boom, clap.
So overall, we loved Black Mirror.
It's
a win.
Yeah, good.
It's definitely a win.
About time.
The grown-ups are back in the room.
Or this is where they have been the whole time.
Yes. Yeah, they've been, you know what? You're right. They've been there the whole time. But it does make you wonder, we're saying that, we're laughing, ha, 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 but they haven't been allowed, have they? They haven't been allowed to.
No.
Amber, what you just said a minute ago about
the noose around the neck.
The noose around
the leash. That's better.
Right. So you're already, but you know, constraints can be a good thing. Well, not constraints. It's probably the wrong word. Limitations. Maybe it's budgetary. Maybe it is. You know, say someone like let's talk about Dismal, right? We don't want anything too overtly sexual. Okay. You know, you look at Charlie Brooker, who's done Black Mirror. Okay, he could probably, with the constraints that someone sensible but dismal, not too overtly sexual. We've got some stars. We've got some stars that we need to use. You know, Liz was just talking about the one with Miley Cyrus. You know, we've got a contract with her that she owes us some time, so we want to put this name in it, and on and on and on it goes. Most creatives would work within those constraints and deliver.
Yeah.
Great. But when you add to that, and what's happened just recently within the past day or 2 at Dismal, is the woman that was head of diversity, equality and inclusion has
resigned.
Yes.
With a very fat pocketbook.
Yeah, but that cannot be underestimated, the impact of that one woman and what she was overseeing and demanding. But the corporation let it happen. They was, you know, they're led to believe, I think in one of the other hogCASTs we was talking about the fact that
sensitivity readers.
Yeah.
That's what's been I'm circulating my head right now is I'll bet it's a lot like that with bigger corporations like Dismal, that you have people coming in with, I've got a great script, a good idea, and then they pass it off to the sensitivity readers who say, you've got to change this and this, to the point that it's no longer what they presented in the beginning. It's something completely different.
Yeah. And who aren't creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who aren't creative. The sensitivity reader isn't going to come back to you and say, no, do you know what? If we just make, as long as you make, you include a couple of non-white characters in the card, whatever it's going to be, do you know what? It can be so easily done. But it's not that, is it? It's no. make the mermaid black. It's no, make the hero gay. You know, Buzz Lightyear needs gay friends. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. The mermaid doesn't have to be black. No, she does not.
And you notice that none of that has to do with character or storytelling.
No.
It is, and what happens is you throw something that's an alien element into your story. It's very difficult to manipulate the characters and the story to work with that. So I don't even know if it goes back to the writers. I have a feeling that the script gets written, it gets handed off to the sensitivity readers, and then it goes straight to the set.
Yeah.
I don't even think it goes back to the writers. I think it used to, and I think this is part of what the writer's strike is about, because they've been talking a lot about how they are no longer welcome on set to make changes and adaptations to the script. And I'm going, now things are starting to make sense. They are not the last ones to touch the script before it's put on in the can. Like it.
But imagine that though. But imagine that as a writer, you come in for Dismal and you're told you're going to write the next Captain America film. Whatever it may be, whatever film you're going to be doing, you come in, you get told that. An opportunity like that, you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. I get to write a character, or even like the next Daredevil TV show. Yeah. Thinking, right, this is going to be awesome. One of the characters I've always loved. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And I'm going to write it. Your name's still all over that. And then someone bastardized it. So now everyone's assuming
it's you.
Can't write for shit.
That you're the one that can't write for shit. And it's, you know, the writers aren't welcome on set. They're doing this evidence through the reshoots. We're in a sort of a time now when reshooting half the film is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that should not be normal practice.
No,
that is stupid practice. It's not cost effective.
Ridiculous. The fact that
horrendous.
Like the Blade movie, the Blade film. That what was it they was doing just before all this latest shit was happening? They brought in they was going to film at the end of May, I think it was. So they should be filming now, but I think the writer's strike has. So just before the writer's strike.
Well, MCU've delayed everything, haven't they?
Yeah, but a month, like 4 weeks before, you are going to roll the cameras on a major motion picture. They have brought in a writer to rewrite the script on Blade. The mind boggles, because unless you're going to, you brought in a dialogue coach or something like that, and you're refining it all the way up to the first day of the shoot. Now that I can get, I can understand that. But you're bringing in a bloke, a new guy, to rewrite the 4 weeks before you're shooting. So
how'd you schedule that?
Is he going to use the same locations? Does he want the same backdrop? Does he want the same characters in the? I don't know what he wants, but they're so messed up with it. But I think what Black Mirror proves is that that's just one man. Well, not one man, but you know, comes from Charlie. It proves that if you just let them, and let's give. All right, I'm going to give Dismal Minus some kudos for Andor, which is the anomaly in everything they've excreted in the past.
Grown up Star Wars.
Yeah, in the past year that they've been from Kenobi onwards, which is really my, you know, if we're going to go back to the geekyOlhog of, and it's my first year.
Yeah,
looked at what they've done with one of my favourite things in the whole world. Sat there as a 10-year-old boy, and look what they did to it. But Andor, it just sits there as it's adult again. And we've gone back to, and I did take the piss with the walking and talking. They can't get away from it. I know they can't, but it can happen. They can do it. You know, you give writers, all you've got to do, instead of giving writers all the limitations of make one gay, make one black, make one Chinese, make one Pakistani, make one trans, make one a rabbit, make one a
rabbit. But it's not even just that though. It's the fact that it's the fact they're getting But it's the fact that they're getting writers in that haven't done much.
No, they haven't. They're kids.
And it's unfair on everyone, because with any trade you have to learn your craft. Someone that hasn't learnt their craft isn't going to be able to produce a good quality script.
Now, I've said in the past that sometimes getting new blood can be a good thing, but it just
can be.
appears like they're getting people without the experience because they're easily controlled.
No, new blood, you need it.
You can control that person.
You need it. A Star Wars anthology series on Dismal Minus, a decent producer, along the lines of, say, the comic book world or even the book world. I don't know if anyone remembers in the book world where there would be a like a sci-fi anthology of short stories every year, be the Ice Awards or whatever it is, and you would have a big old book, you know, like 10 or 12 short stories of up and coming writers that, and I know I'm harking back to the, you know, yesteryears of publishing.
But you need to nurture that new talent, not just throw them in.
Yeah, you would nurture.
They still do it.
Do they still do it, Amber?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's definitely more popular for the well-known writers. Like, I mean, I have a few of them myself, but like I bought one, it was for a charity, and it had at least 3 or 4 really well-established science fiction and fantasy writers had little shorts in there. And I bought it for one author specifically.
Yes,
but
that's what they would do, wouldn't it? You would have you would have your main name, have all your up and comings, like that would sell the book.
Well, in this case, they were all very well-known writers. I bought it because I had it was for Patrick Rothfuss. He wrote 2 novels that were spectacular, and he has taken far too long to put out the third. Like we've been waiting longer than George R. R. Martin for this third novel.
To say that, is he doing a Game of Thrones?
It's been longer than that, I think. But I found out he had a short story in there, and I was thrilled. So I went to buy it because of him. But I'm looking through it, and I'm like, Brandon Sanderson is in this. Stephen King is in this. Like, there were big names in there. So they're not doing it for the unknowns, because I think people are assuming, well, nobody's going to buy that. But I bought this it was a charity. Like, this whole book was put together for a charity. I think that it would be a good idea to do what you're saying. But yeah, find the big writer who, or in this case, like what you're talking about, doing like an anthology of stories for Star Wars, like do Black Mirror, but Star Wars. That'd be sick. That would be really cool. And yeah, draw from the novels and things that we already have out there. And I know, you know, we're all thinking probably won't, because, you know, then they have to pay somebody else or whatever. But honestly, Disney steals stories from everybody anyway. I don't know what's holding them back. I mean,
you even Star Wars Celebration have a competition. Write a short story.
Yeah, there you go.
Write a short story. Write your.
Do you know how excited people would be to have their story turned into a Star Wars episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, people would go nuts.
I mean,
I've got about 8 of them at home right now.
What's that?
I've got about 8 Star Wars short stories at home right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing it in the comics, but it just doesn't transfer to that. But anyway, that's a wider, wider other world that.
You know who I could see doing it? I could see. Okay, so you find that one down. What? I was not looking.
I said me, and you went, yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, but no.
It's my show. It's my anniversary.
We'll move on.
Apart from you.
We know what yours would be. It'd be Wookiees battling the Empire.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. Come on.
We were really interested in your story now, Amber. Go on, carry on. Remember this when the next invites go out. I'm only joking. Go on. Sorry, Amber.
No, it's all good. No, fucking hell. What was I going to say?
You've done that on purpose.
You did do that on purpose. Oh my god.
Frick.
No, it would be a good idea to do that. I think giving some of the stories that already exist in the anthology. I mean, Disney owns the Star Wars brand now, correct?
At the moment.
Are they not? Would they not be making money off of previous Star Wars material? Like, that was, I mean, wasn't there some sort of a thing where they said, yes, all previous Star Wars contracts are over and now it's solely owned by us or something? I feel like I remember that conversation happening and thinking, oh, that's going to suck for all the people who have written Star Wars material. And it's, you know, if it gets picked up, then they're going to get nothing for it.
Oh, I know what you mean. So say someone like Timothy Zahn that wrote the Thrawn trilogy.
Okay.
There's nothing in it for him.
Yeah.
They used Admiral Thrawn, Osaka, whatever he's going to be. There's nothing in it for him. That's what they mean. That's what they mean. Whatever you've done for us up to this point, thank you. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, why are they reluctant to use this material if it's theirs now?
Exactly.
It's good.
Because they know better.
There's certain people that won't let things go through.
No, it's one person.
One person that won't let things go through. There's been a lot that's come out of the woodwork this last probably week or so.
Yeah, it was Kathleen Kennedy that's just strangled. She has strangled the life out of it.
Things that she's done directly to go against what George Lucas set up in the first place.
Time will show, and she had his blessing. Yeah, that's the shame of it. But she has strangled the life out of it.
Sorry, I've got a slight
franchise. How can one person murder a franchise so completely as she has done with Star Wars?
Right. So sorry.
How can they do that and not get fired? Is the question. Go Taters.
Go Tayters.
Hog, you heard the news about this one buyer that is potentially on plan to buy Lucasfilm. Yeah. My thought was, oh my God, what if Kathleen Kennedy has ruined Star Wars so she can buy Lucasfilm? What if this is a plan?
No, I can't even think of that. I don't know.
No, who's going to buy
it turned out
Lucasfilm?
It's been fingered to an oil billionaire or something, isn't it?
There are so.
There are rumors. There are rumors.
Okay.
So many rumors. The most beautiful one I did hear, or that there's a chance, like a bit like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber saying, "You're telling me there's a chance?"
Yeah.
Is Lucas buying it back?
Yeah. That's what I heard.
That's the only chance it has. Other than that,
that was one of the rumors. Yeah.
But what they was comparing it to was Saban buying back the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, yeah.
So Disney spent a gazillion dollars buying Power Rangers.
Do you remember the numbers?
No.
5.4 billion they paid for Power Rangers. 5.4 billion they paid for.
They didn't do anything with it, did they?
They ruined it.
Well,
how much do you think the guy got it back for? Have a guess.
It was something like 6 million, wasn't it?
$60 million.
That was the best house flip of all time. It was a reverse flip. What do you call that?
10 years. Took 10 years, but
you called it good business, didn't you? You say
yes.
5.5 billion. There you go. I love that with 60 mil. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just shit out the interest payments that I earn off the money you pay. You idiots.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose in a way the writing was on the wall. You get Power Rangers wrong.
Yeah.
How are you going to make Star Wars work if you get Power Rangers wrong?
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
The problem is now, though, is say, for example, that did happen and George Lucas brought it back. It would create the hype, so people would straight away becoming flooding back because of the hype of it. But fuck me, you've got to deliver and you've got to undo all this shit. And the only way I think you can do it, because there'll be certain things like Rogue One or season 7 of the Clone Wars that you'd be like, no, I want to keep that. But the only way you can actually reset it is to get rid of everything Disney have ever done. And just say that's discarded. Everything Disney have done is discarded. The whole sequels.
For me, that wouldn't be difficult, but you'd have to be quick.
You'd have to be very quick to do it.
With Star Wars, with Lucas, or let's just say Lucasfilm.
But the problem is, though, I think I said this to you.
Well,
I think I said this to you the other day. I think I said this to you the other day. The problem is now, say for example, Lucas brought it back.
Yeah.
Now, it would be Lucas's dream to always do the sequel trilogy. He could never do that now because of Carrie Fisher. You could never do it. You can never have the original 3 back together and deliver that sequel trilogy.
No.
The timing's gone. So you'd have to go very far back or very far in the future and just stay away from Skywalkers.
Yeah. The best thing would be to clean slate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
If you know, Lucas has always surrounded himself with a good team. And I think a decent team, the first thing they would say is, we can't do the Skywalkers, we can't do this, we can't do that. But what we can do in this universe you created, George, do you know what? We can just go to that little planet there, or we can just, that character, do you remember that character from that film?
Mm-hmm.
Just go there, and those creative people will just bring that, like they did with Rogue One. They will just bring that out of that one tiny idea. Or I always call it a conceit. You know,
it's just a shame we'll never be able to get the sequels that we deserved.
Yeah, but you've got to move. But
you have to move beyond it.
Everything down again. We must move on. Forget the fucking 6 films, the 9 films, whatever, how many fucking films. They're all over there and they're done. Dismal fucked it, but
here's something new and fresh
over there. And you know my favourite one. Let's go back to Chewbacca's own planet straight away.
Yeah,
let's use the technology from those Planet of the Apes films. But this is Disney own that now. They bought MGM, was it, or 20th Century Fox? What
20th Century Fox?
They now own the rights to Planet of the Apes, and they're talking about fucking that again in a minute.
What?
But with that technology, you think of all the technology, just give us a Wookiee. Give us a Wookiee. The comics have been there, and I think there was one book where they went back to what was his homeworld, Tayters?
Kashyyyk.
Thank you, Liz. Go back to Kashyyyk, and it was a really the comic now I'm talking about, not the some of the stories. But it's quite a spiritual. I mean, it's almost like what Avatar did in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a spiritual thing going back to Kashyyyk with the Wookiees and etc. etc. Come on, guys.
Didn't they touch on it in Bad Batch as well?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, and they did do it.
With Gunji. Yeah.
Yeah, they did do it. They did do it nicely. He's got the and he's gone back home and he's an orphan, and etc. etc. And they got everything in there that the diversity and equality and inclusion coach would want. But they've done
Space Bears,
an alien. That's what science fiction has always done. It's always about the other, the alien, the one that doesn't belong.
Yeah.
They've always done it without making it, oh, God blame me, or, you know what I'm saying, fam. Oh.
They've done it without having to tell people this is what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, look at me. I'm a black gay alien.
They just need to go back to the Old Republic. That's what they need to do.
Or a green alien. Sorry about that, Liz. I didn't mean that wasn't directed at you.
Aliens are all colours, mate.
Yeah, but that's why it's science fiction. That's what makes it so good. It was called, as SpongeBob SquarePants once said, imagination.
Yeah.
Yes, and he actually did that. Imagination.
And a rainbow appears.
Yeah. That picture of SpongeBob doing that be above every studio in Hollywood.
Yes.
Right, as they walk in, they go, "What is it again? Imagine what? I'm a gonna what? Yeah, you're gonna have imagination and create some good shit, man."
Getting upset again, aren't you?
I am getting wound up because they ruined Star Wars.
Well, I think Ahsoka is the final test. It has to be.
Yeah.
If that's a disappointment, it's over.
How long for that, Tayters?
What? When's it released? 23rd of August.
Oh, so
not long to go.
Yeah, but have you heard about the Acolyte?
Yeah, that got wiped, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was we actually discussed this previously.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a meeting, and Iger said he's going to take it off. He's going to wipe it, and now it's come true. He's actually wiped it. It's done.
Do one.
I did not hear that.
They've
That's
scrapped
awesome.
it. They've scrapped it. That's it. All the filming that's been done, all the stuff that's been done, production.
What is this? Tell me.
Scrapped, gone. Get rid of it.
It was a Star Wars show that was pure Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, fantastic.
They
Pure
scrapped it.
female
And it was already filmed?
Certain bits. I don't think it was complete. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was complete yet. No.
Post-production and stuff, but no. They've just...
They canned it, yeah. Just done. Get rid of it.
That's a hit.
There is no more money.
And Headland's walked, from what I hear.
Headland walked.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the long walk.
Same as the girl that resigned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they've got the money has gone. That's why all those Marvel films are delayed. Oh, the writer's strike. I've got to admit, if I was at the board of Disney, I'd be thinking, thank fuck for that. The writers are on strike, so we can delay.
Yeah.
They have got no money.
Well, they've got some money. They got a little bit of money. Wasn't the last record like 200 million or something?
Yeah.
They got that left.
That's the equivalent of me and you down to our last fiver.
I know. Well, they got some money
for a corporation.
They can get around in.
Yeah, that's it. I can get around in before we start this next Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, all right. But yeah, they've run out of dough, and they're pushed. But all of that Kathleen Kennedy saving her ass. This is going to be the big one. Let's wait for Indy 5. Just see if my predictions are correct.
8 days, mate. Yeah,
not just mine. But I've been saying it for a while. Her head's got to roll.
Yeah.
And it will be after Indy bombs.
And it will bomb as well.
I've got a feeling we'll get the announcement in the next week before Indy's even released.
Yeah, because it's getting early screenings for people already. Yeah. The reviews are up.
Yeah, I've got a feeling. Yeah,
it's getting even the normal shills are saying.
When the shills are unable to give it a 100% awesome score, you know it's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shills have abandoned Dismal.
Yeah.
And on all levels, even the Little Mermaid that come out, there weren't many corners in Shieldom that you could go to find a glowing review of that film.
Yeah.
Too long. No need for Aquafina doing that fucking stupid song. Plus the other songs. No, who asked for it? Who wanted that? Who wanted it? Give us new.
Yeah.
Give us new. But
they can't do it.
See if my predictions. I think Kennedy's head will roll. And they do have to sell off at the end of this year. They've got to give 20 billion to
what's the name of it?
Hulu?
No, it's not Hulu. It's
whoever owns or used to.
Yeah,
CBS is it or?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. But yeah, it's
big bill to pay at the end of this
year.
Huge.
A
big bill.
Well, you know, it's sort of like what Elon Musk said a few months ago was that the recession sucks for all of the hardworking lower class people, but when it comes to the big corporations and things, it is so good because the shit and uselessness is the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Anything that's not useful is going to disappear.
Yeah.
And I think Disney has hit a pretty far down low in the last Yeah.
It's taken some time. I mean, because they're so big, we kind of always, particularly me, I'm always aiming at them. But it's across the board. You know, Warner Brothers are just as bad, you know, with CW. And
well, they've all swallowed the same Kool-Aid. They all think that they have to do things the same way.
Yeah.
And
Zaslav with Batgirl and all that, he just went, no.
Mm-hmm.
He went, you know, the film was in the can and he went, no. Put that shit on the shelf in a bag and seal it so none of us can smell it. Because
it would be better if we make absolutely no money from it at all than people actually see it.
Yeah.
In England or in my area, particular area of England, it's called wiping your mouth. You wipe your mouth. You've done so.
Mouth. Walk away.
You've got to admit you know that hard pill to swallow. You just wipe your mouth and walk away. You go, no, I've wasted my time. But don't throw more money, good money, after bad. Zaslav, he's taking some time, but he's put it all in the hands of James Gunn there, hasn't he? So
we'll see.
Is there anything after Ahsoka that is planned or in the works?
They got a shit ton of plans, but they ain't got no money to do them.
Yeah,
they haven't started pre-production on anything, though. I mean,
no, and that's
everything's halted.
Everything has been put on hold. I think the next project release date is like 2026.
Yeah, so I think Ahsoka is their final test.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
If they screw up such a beloved character, it really is done.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. You know, to have I'm just thinking from a business point of view. You have got the intellectual property of Star Wars. You've got Ahsoka coming out this year, and that's your lot. I mean, come on. That's when you know you're up an alleyway with no. We've all, you know, anyone who's been in business, you've had that moment where you think, oh fuck, I ain't gone well. You know, you've introduced a new line of a product into, and that hasn't worked, but it's sucked all the dough out of what you're earning money over here. But you thought, oh, there's a new line here. Disney, they're just a corporation in that moment now. But instead of admitting it,
pride.
Yeah, instead of
double down.
And do you know what? They could go back to shareholders, because we are talking about billions.
Yeah.
They could. I mean, that last shareholders meeting they had, which they kind of tried to keep a lid on, where people were actually saying, why are you getting involved with Ron DeSantis in Florida and arguing about that legislation? Why are you doing that? Give us Toy Story 5, you prick. Whatever you've got to do as a corporation providing entertainment, give us Star Wars 18, whatever you've got to do. But these are big investors saying that, and he's going, oh yeah, but this, that, and the other, because they've had this agenda, and it's the go woke, go broke agenda.
Yeah.
That, my God.
There was a line, saying the word woke. There was a line in Black Mirror episode 2 in Loch Henry. So he comes back to his hometown and he meets his mate in the bar, and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing? I thought you was at that woke film school in London."
Nice.
Actually, it's like the Joan is Awful episode, and she's got a gay bloke in the office, and when he's watching his character being played back on the TV screen, he's going, "Oh, he dresses awful." Like it's they just go full on with the fact that he's in a skirt, in the real life bit. And then when he's watching who's portraying him on the screen, he's going, I don't talk like that. It's awful. But they just embrace it.
Yeah.
We're all up for that. I think we're all up for that, if you're going to call it diversion, equality and inclusion. But not, you know, the balance isn't there. But that's a whole other subject.
Yeah.
For the second year.
Yeah.
We're going to address that weekly.
Weekly?
No! No, I couldn't do it weekly.
Oh, no.
That's what she said. But unless anyone else, I know we kind of had the Arnie documentary down to discuss, but
I loved it.
It was so
I thought that was wicked. That was also
so
documentary.
I know it's not kind of genre or anything, but like, is he not an awesome human being or what?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But it's good to see that.
And eggs.
It was good timing on Netflix because he's just done Fubar, and then you go straight into the Arnie documentary. It was good timing. Very good timing. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. That was a good documentary.
It was.
It was motivating. How weird is that?
Yeah.
You know, it's good. Yeah, it should be. I mean, like, I've been an Arnold fan since I was a kid.
It's inspiring.
There was stuff in there that I've never seen. And, you know, that was...
What bits hadn't you seen, Tayters? Because I thought...
just certain footage. Like, when they made the documentary Pumping Iron.
Yes.
You know, I've got some of the behind-the-scenes stuff somewhere. But there was still bits in there that I hadn't seen before, little discussions behind the scenes. Some of the stuff with Reg Park.
When he was in the gym with two of his mates and he was giving it that in front of the mirror. And putting all the blood into his, but it looked painful, but he was enjoying it, and he just he's going like that, and he's got two blokes behind him going, yeah, man, yeah. And he was inflating his body to such it hurt. I was thinking, ow.
No.
You could see like the stretch marks. I mean, I used to, obviously.
You used to have stretch marks?
Yeah. Then I gave birth because that's allowed. That's allowed now.
But no, it was a great documentary.
I identify as a pregnant woman. Didn't you know that?
As a what?
I identify as a pregnant woman.
Right. Okay.
Congratulations.
That is my right. Thank you.
You're glowing.
That's my right, and it is twins. Most laugh, you're supposed to say, "Oh, Roy, no, you're not that fat, mate."
No, you are.
No.
I can believe it.
Anyway, no, that Arnie doc, that's the way to do a documentary.
Really good.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Even the political stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's the bit that, like the cinema bit. I don't know about you lot, but even that, there was some nuggets in there that I didn't know. You kind of sit back and go, right, I know the episode 2 cinema bit, I know this. But no, it was fascinating. And the access he must have given everyone.
Yeah. And I just like the fact he wakes up every morning, chills with his donkeys, has a cigar, and then goes about his day.
Listen in the kitchen, this little donkey running around, and oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I thought I was bad feeding the fox and the birds in my garden.
Yeah.
Arnie has to take it to the next level, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course he does. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
All right then, guys. Well, I think that's a perfect time to do a freeze frame goodbye.
Freeze frame goodbye. Yeah.
But before I go, thank you all. Obviously, Amber, you weren't there from the beginning, but thank you for the first making my first year. Like, it's a shame Randy's not here because obviously, part of the whole hogCAST thing.
Do you remember what number you come in at, Amber?
I don't. Maybe 10, something like that.
Nah, it was 8.
It was 8. Okay.
Wow.
I thought that would be etched on your memory, Amber.
Yeah, but all for the wrong reasons.
You was 4. Tayters, you was 4. You was number 4, Tayters.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
It's the nightmares. Like, do I want to do videos on YouTube? My God.
Yeah,
this channel.
Yeah. Tayters was 4, Amber was 8, and then Randy was 9, I think.
So what's that? 1, 4. Was it 4 for Tayters?
4 for Tayters, 8 for Amber, and it was 9 for Randy.
Was that when we got? I think the episode 4. We got bored taking the piss out of Star Wars without doing it in front of someone. I remember that now. Yeah. You said, "I know someone."
Yeah.
But
I can't believe there's been that many.
Have you got a cake? No candles? No nothing? No.
No.
Oh
no,
wow.
We just got beers tomorrow.
How lame is that?
You really ain't put no effort into this, have you?
What would I put on a cake? Like,
it's 1 year anniversary. No.
The reason I know you're gay is stop. Cake or cock? I don't know. Here ended the lesson. Mic drop.
Yeah. Who's mic drop?
But anyway, thank you guys.
No,
thank you.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
No, the hogCAST, I love them. I love the hogCAST.
Me too.
And we do have a lot of fun taking the piss out of everything. Well, gushing about what we love, and then suddenly we take the piss. So, no, I really do enjoy them. So, on that note, get ready.
Oh, okay.
Adios.
Night.
Ridiculous.